It's like the first meeting of EASPS, and it's an opportunity for us to meet face to face. When we formed the EASPS, all the activities and the processes that led to the formation, they were virtual. When EASPS formation idea came up, we received a letter from we received the request from the president of AAPS, Professor Adiliso. They are present. The idea to form EASPS came from Professor Adiliso on behalf of the Council of AAPS. And when I received the communication to lead the process to form EASPS, we took into action. We started the process. We mobilized. Personally, I wrote to universities in East Africa to inform them about our plan to form the society. And the many of the universities were cooperative. They showed interest. Their members were recruited. After that, we formed the Constitution Drafting Committee. The Constitution Drafting Committee worked hard. They produced the Constitution. After the Constitution was produced, we constituted electoral committee. We did election. The election produced the council members. So after the council election was done, we have the council, and society started properly. But since that time, we have been operating virtually, even up to the time of forming this conference. Everything we're doing was virtual. So I really want to give us a very big round of applause for getting to this stage without a physical meeting. This is the first physical meeting we are having. But before going into the details, I would like to welcome Professor Yusuf to the table. And as the president of AAPS, maybe let us give him the mic to just declare this meeting.
Thank you to the chairperson, and good afternoon to all. Just before I open, I just think it is a tremendous achievement to actually have this meeting here for the Constitution. Because it was just an idea. Originally, it starts with an idea, and then you need to put in that energy to make it happen. And especially somebody like the chairperson here really took it on board and passed my expectations when I initially approached you. So, well, and also to all of you. So, without further ado, it's my pleasure to formally declare this meeting.
Welcome directly. That's why I have to give him the mic again to declare it open. So it's not be like who gave you the a self-introduction, because we don't know ourselves, quote and unquote. Even though now I know everybody by name, by virtue of registration and interaction. So I think self-introduction, just your name and your university is what we need. Please. I think we can start from the high table here. I'm Abdullateef Alagbonsi, president of EASPS. I'm from the University of Rwanda.
Pardon Esso, President AAPS, Stellenbosch University, Cape Town, South Africa.
Council member representative from Kenya, from Jomo Kenyatta University, Kenya.
I'm Dr. Evangelista Manilita from Catholic University of Health and Life Science, Council member and country representative of EASPS, Tanzania.
Good afternoon, Marina Jelekela, Vice President, East African Society of Physiological Sciences. I come from the University of Health and Allied Sciences.
Okay, I'm Elizabeth Msubi, from Kilimanjaro Christian College, Medical University College, and also a student at the University.
Hi everyone, my name is Akweda Manase, level 6 medical student in the University of Nairobi. I'm the secretary for 8 years in Kenya.
Good afternoon, my name is Abdullateef from the Alagbonsi University.
Good evening.
Endelea, namwita huyu.
My name is Abdullateef from the University of the Law.
Yaani hiyo inakaa upande huu, sana waelekeza.
Yeah, my name is Paul. Durante никого самого международного университета Танзании университет Танзании.
Good afternoon, Dr. Elaine Benikova, Venus Delgado, School of Medical Technology, and also I'm head of the Department of Biochemistry and Physiology.
My name is Henry Mogeta. I'm from Tanzania University of Ghana. I'm part of my
Say you would like to please. Well, we would like that, but what happened?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the department from the University of Rwanda. I'm the expert from the
It's flying that out.
Just everyone, my name is Dr. Alagbonsi. I'm the program
My name is Dr. Juma from Mountain Karachi. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joseph Temba from the University of Health and Allied Sciences. Again, it's Constantine Tasama of the University of the Law.
My name is Dr. Kula Naomi, from the University of the Law. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susan Ramiro from the University of
My name is Abdul Masesa from the Catholic University of Health and Allied Sciences, Rwanda. Albert Msima from Kala School of Medicine, representing Uganda on the committee.
Yeah, you're here, you're Swiss.
Come here.
I was wondering, where is the country?
My name is Dr. Patricia and I'm here at Memorial University here in Dar es Salaam.
My name is Tabari Bibi from Catholic University of Health and Allied Sciences, Rwanda, Tanzania.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nisha Marubareka from the University of Nairobi, currently serving as the Federal
Good afternoon, my name is Rose Amanda from the University of South Kenya. Good afternoon, I am the promoter to South Africa. I am Charles from Washington University, South Africa. I'm a member to have from Washington, South Africa.
Good evening, everyone. I am Charles from Tanzanian University in Tanzania. On sabbatical, primarily from University of Rwanda.
Good evening, everyone. Professor Ellen, Professor of One.
Don't forget to take minutes for this meeting. Okay,
Anyone, I think badly using a lot of people like from back of the West Nigeria.
My name is Dr. Steve Manuel from Kampala International University, Tanzania. Good evening. My name is Dr. Michael Oti from University of Calabar, Nigeria.
share screen.
Everyone, my name is so of course I'm from the University of Calabar, Nigeria.
Okay, thank you very much for the self-introduction. For the sake of time, we seek the permission or the forgiveness of those online. We will not be able to take introduction from the online participants. But they can write in the chat room, and then our ICT director can share the screen and we can see them by writing their name. But I think the phase we are going to now, to save our time, we want to listen to what happens to registration issue and then the fundraising issue. Because I like to start with the discussion with money. When we talk about money, then other things can follow. I think money is very, very important. So I want to call on the treasurer, he's online, to give us a brief about membership. So the treasurer will help us to join his session with that of the secretary, who is unavoidably absent. He was supposed to be here, but he couldn't get released from the university to travel from Ethiopia. So the treasurer will give us an highlight of the membership registration and then the financial status, especially on what we are able to raise, from where, how much we are able to raise. And I think he's in the best position to do that. Is it there now? Okay, so Dr.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Yes, you can hear it.
We can hear you.
Can you can hear me? Good. Thank you very much, President. I'm going to start with a brief introduction of myself before I proceed to present the report. I hope you can see my slides, the screen.
Yes, please. Very clear.
Yeah, thanks very much. So my name is Nchafatso Bonyo. I'm the treasurer and I'll be presenting the report. Unfortunately, could not join you in Dar es Salaam for the meeting, but I've gotten very positive reports from the rest of my council members colleagues, that the conference is going on very well. My primary affiliation at the moment, I'm based in Queensland, Australia, is at the Critical Care Research Group, Institute of Molecular Bioscience, but I come from Kenya and I collaborate very closely with the Kenya Medical Association, the Kenya Medical Research Institute, and the initiative to develop African research leaders. So I'm very much encouraged by the discussion that we've just had on curriculum development and the building up of future leaders. I'll quickly get into the report, moving to the next slide. So this has been our first year of operations. That's 2023 to 2024. We are actually in the middle of the year of operations. And so I'll only be presenting monies that we have managed to collect in terms of sponsorships and memberships, membership dues, and external donations, as well as conference registrations. In terms of expenditure, I think we are still spending money. We are still paying for bills that are coming through from the conference in terms of meals that we are taking and other conference expenditures. So I'll not be presenting those, but we will have a comprehensive report to the membership after the conference on how monies have been spent. Before I get to the actual figures, I want to just acknowledge everyone who believed in the dream of EASPS. About 10 months ago, I don't think any of us would have believed that we would have ended up today in Dar es Salaam with this conference from where we started. And I want to, at this juncture, in very particular mention and acknowledge Professor Fadel Esop, who has been a great mentor to EASPS. The ASPS has worked with us this journey. I also want to thank you, the members, for it is, if we spent all this time organize a conference and no one turned up, again, that would have been a big flop. So it's, the members is what makes up the association. I want to also pay a special tribute to the sponsors who have made this conference possible for us. I did mention mentors, Professor Fadel Esop in the room. I know we've also had great support from the IU, International Union of Physiological Science, IUPS, led by the president, Professor Susan Ray, the general secretary, Professor Paul Ulrich, and other members who couldn't be with us. Someone like Professor Gary Siek, the treasurer. I know that from Japan, we have representatives represented by Professor Kubo, the second vice president, and also the first vice president in the room. So I want to really appreciate the mentors. The leaders, again, I want to also acknowledge the different country leaders who I've worked with very closely in terms of collecting these monies. It's not very easy to collect money from different countries, as you'll see down there in the table. The currency is being collected in different denominations. There is Tanzania shillings, Ethiopian birr, Kenya shillings, etc. But we've had very good coordination between the different country leadership who are also part of the council. And lastly, I want to just, in a very special way, congratulate our president for his vision and leadership, bringing us to where we are. Professor Abdullateef, thank you very much. And also Dr. Marina, the conference chair and our current vice president. And our secretary, Dr. Abebaye. To start us off, so this is how we've collected money. So we have 5 different countries. Tanzania represented by Dr. Evangelista, who is in the room. Ethiopia represented by Dr. Teketel. Kenya represented by Dr. Faraj Alkizim. Uganda represented by Habat. And Rwanda represented by Professor Odiambo. So we've collected from Tanzania 1,982,400 shillings from members, and for conference registration was 1,579,202, totaling 3,561,602 Tanzania shillings. From Ethiopia, we've again collected, as you can see projected there, a total of 26,950 Ethiopian birr, which translates to 1,210,597 Tanzania shillings. From Kenya, we collected 191,800 in total, as you can see, split between members' dues and conference as projected. And this is totaling to 3,068,900 Tanzania shillings. In Uganda, we collected 2,013,000 Uganda shillings, which converts to 1,105,741,000 Tanzania shillings. From Rwanda, we collected a total of 1,874,700 Rwandese francs. And again, the council outside of East Africa, so that is a good representation from the countries represented in there. Yesterday we had there was 22 different countries, and these monies were sent to the president and the council, and that totaled to 1,864,056 Rwandese francs. This was combined and sent, so when you convert all the monies in Rwandese francs to Tanzania shillings, it comes to 6,750,000. Muhas, there was a Muhas code, a vote of 500,000 Tanzania shillings, and that's a donation that's come to the conference. Kuhas, I have two accounts down there. Number one is a Tanzania shilling account, which we've received 16,700,041 shillings for conference registration, and 1,700,000 external donation, totaling 18,400,041 Tanzania shillings. The second Kuhas account is a US dollar account. We've received 560 US dollars for registration and an external donation of 24,432 US dollars, totaling 24,992 US dollars, which converts to about 62,604,960 Tanzania shillings. On the last column at the end there, you can see some figures are in red. That's monies from Ethiopia and money from Muhas. Those are monies that have been collected but have not yet been hit our account. It's just Professor Fadil Esop explained yesterday. It was very difficult to just transfer money across Africa. It's very difficult and very expensive to move from Cape Town to Dar es Salaam than it is to go to Dubai. We were experiencing similar challenges just trying to move monies across, and we were trying to move them in the most efficient way where we wouldn't have to spend too much money paying for transactional costs. And so the monies from Tanzania will be hitting the account as soon as the delegation arrives and able to submit this. And the money from Muhas was a donation by vote. So this will be expended without coming to the account. The money in blue that I did say is in US dollars. The reason it's in blue is because it's subject to conversion. So it might be a bit different based on the conversion figure that is used, but based on the current one, when I was preparing this report, it translated to roughly about 62,604,960. So in total, we've managed to collect 97,201,841. And this is in the very first year of operations, which is, I think, a very commendable effort for all the groups of people that I said believed in the dream, the members, the sponsors, the mentors, the leaders, and of course, the council. I'll move on to the next slide to just, in a very special way, acknowledge the people who have given us donations. We've received donations in our first Kuhas account that is in Tanzania shillings, totaling 9 million Tanzania shillings. This has come from Kuhas, gave us a donation of 1.2 million Tanzania shillings. Bugando Medical Center donated 500,000 Tanzania shillings. HKMU has donated 1 million Tanzania shillings. KCMU company donation 5 million Tanzania shillings, and Muhimbili Orthopedic Institute has donated 800,000 Tanzania shillings. Up there, I of course have what Muhimbili National Hospital has donated through the Muhas code or Muhas vote. That's 500,000 Tanzania shillings, totaling 9 million Tanzania shillings. And we want to thank all these donors for their very generous support that makes this conference possible and giving EASPS, a footing as we start off with the year. The second group of donations that I want to highlight here went to the Kuhas US dollar account. We received from the Physiological Society of United Kingdom 2,000 pounds, and the conversion there to US dollars is about 2,440 and 17 cents US dollars. The American Physiological Society generously donated 2,000 US dollars. The Physiological Society of Japan has donated 2,500 US dollars. The German Physiological Society donated 1,000 euros, which converts to about 1,032 and 57 cents US dollars. AD Instruments have been very good to us. They'll be running our workshops tomorrow, and they've also, through Professor Tony McKnight, who is a great mentor of physiologists in the continent and across the world, they've donated 2,500 US dollars to support the conference. And like I said, they'll be running the workshops. And this conference wouldn't have been possible in any way without the support, the mentorship of the International Union of Physiological Sciences under the leadership of Professor Susan Ray, who also chaired the advisory council that was planning and preparing for the conference. And we want to, in a very special way, thank the IUPS for their generosity, both in terms of donations, that is 13,960 US dollars. These monies were divided. Some of you are attending through, those scholarships to provide for abstract presentation. So some of the monies were allocated to that. Other monies were allocated for just logistical costs, but the donation in total was 13,960 US dollars. So the total donations in this second US dollar account is 24,432 and 74 cents US dollars. Again, this is roughly what I have. I said I'll not be presenting any expenditure yet because we are still in the process of spending money, paying for your meals, paying for other expenses, costs of the venue, the hotels that we have to meet, but we'll have a comprehensive report coming out in terms of how these monies have been expended. I want to, again, in conclusion, thank all our sponsors, all our donors, all our mentors who have made this possible. I sit here in Australia very sad that I couldn't join you guys, join the conference in Dar es Salaam, but the reports I get from the council and the president have been very encouraging, and I want to wish you all well for the remaining bits of the conference. AD Instruments will be running the workshops, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of learning from the third day and the rest of the day. Thank you very much. Back to you, President. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Thank you very much for keeping records of our money for us. Money is life. So now that we have heard about our money, we have been hearing dollars, we have been hearing different currency. So I think we are all motivated now to start the meeting in good spirits. He forgot to make mention of another $2,000 from IUPS Education Committee. And I know he didn't mention it because the money has not touched our hand. The money is a reward by IUPS to recognize the effort we have invested in writing this curriculum that we have just finished presenting. So the IUPS Educational Committee has promised $2,000 as soon as we submit the report of this conference. The money is hanging, waiting for us. They receive the report, we receive alerts. So that's why
thank you, President.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing I could add is all the membership. If you pay your dues in good time, we'll have a very good association under the leadership of Professor Abdullateef, as you've seen. Thank you.
So maybe we can wait for questions, comments on the issue of funds and support we have received so far. Let's wait for people to react to this before we move to the next agenda. Please feel free to ask us questions, track us, probe us, and let us know your concern about what he has presented so far.
First is to say thank you for the work that you have put as a community to enable us to be here today. I am saying thank you as part of those people who brought their opportunity to get the travel grant. I really like to thank all of you for that. My question is on membership. That when we say membership for the East African Association, then we automatically do an AAPS member, then, or how are you going to work?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. We appreciate that you are very grateful by appreciating us for giving you the partial travel grant. Thank you for thanking us. The other aspect, asking whether the membership of EASPS covers AAPS, I'm glad to tell you that in Africa, EASPS is the first society issuing certificate of dual membership to its member. So meaning that when you are a member of EASPS, meaning that when you pay as a member of EASPS, the certificate we give you has two logos. It has AAPS and EASPS. Also, in the certificate, we see that we have said your membership of EASPS has enabled you to also be a member of AAPS. So I made a special lobby for this in the council of AAPS. I'm an ex-official in the council, and I'm happy that the council approved this under the leadership of our president, Professor Iso. So we agree that anyone who pays for EASPS certificate membership automatically becomes AAPS member. So that's a privilege we are enjoying, and we will continue to enjoy that. And I believe other societies in Africa may copy us in the future. So the answer is yes for what you have said now. So, but when we are discussing the issue of membership in the third agenda, we will talk more on membership and issues related to registration. So any other comments or question? If there is none, we can move to the next on the agenda. But before we move to the next on the agenda, I would like the Vice President, Dr. Marina, to also say something about how we manage to mobilize funds, especially locally. What the funds we have received so far that has been mentioned by the treasurer, it was a lot of effort put in place by the LOC. I will come back to recognize and appreciate LOC especially, but I just want Dr. Marina to say something on that.
It's about creating awareness first of what is East African Society of Physiological Sciences to various stakeholders. And for this conference, because it was short time, so we earmarked universities of medicine, health-related universities, and other public universities as well as private, but also major hospitals in Tanzania. So it was a physical visit to these institutions. We talked to the leaders of institutions to understand the importance of having this association and request for whatever donation they can help so that we move this meeting for the first time in Tanzania. And for all the universities and hospitals which we went, they contributed. So at least now Tanzania, they know this association is existing. And we hope if you give us another opportunity to hold this conference, it will be even more better than now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marina. Even though it is part of our agenda, Kenya is already lobbying to be the next host. But it is part of what we will know in this conference, whether they are ready. Thank you, Dr. Marina. Let's listen to countries and see what is the journey so far on establishing physiological society. Part of what we want to achieve in this conference, but I know it is not an easy achievement, is to ensure that in each country we have physiological society, like Kenyan Physiological Society, Ethiopia Physiological Society, Uganda Physiological Society, Rwanda Physiological Society, Tanzanian Physiological Society. These 5 countries we are operating now, we want to ensure that they have physiological society. And our plan is that in our next conference, whenever we are going to hold it, we are going to add 5 more countries to make 10. We are starting with 5 countries. But we want to make sure that we expand by having 5 more countries and inaugurate 5 more countries in the next conference. So we have a clear roadmap of what we want to achieve, and we have plotted the graph of how we are going to achieve it. So in this conference, I know that the only thing we have not been able to do is to have election of council member in these countries, apart from Ethiopia, that already has established physical society, that is EPS. The 4 remaining countries, Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya, and Rwanda, we are in the process of forming physical societies in those countries. So I would just like to invite specific people to tell us what is the level of the process of having physical societies in their country. So maybe I will start from Kenya. Dr. Faraj. You can pass to Professor Elias.
I think before we make any comments on the Kenyan picture, I want to invite my teacher to just very briefly tell us the history of Kenyan Historical Society and then where it got to. And then I want to just alert the current team to be ready to give us the current situation.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, President and my excellent ex-student. And I just wanted to briefly talk about Kenya. Again, Nairobi was about the story of terror in 1980. Also elected being the local party. I was involved in the formation of Kenya Geological Society. I worked with Sharia House. So I walked to Sharia House and I got to the society after we formed the Kenya Geological Society. 1980. Now, I went for further study abroad. I came back in 1986. I revised, continued, and then at one point I took leave of absence. But before I took leave of absence in 2009, in 2008, we hosted in Nairobi University Chirogo campus the 5th International Congress of African Association of Civil Society. What is how to handle the Kenya Geological Society work? What's very positive? On the negative side, I want to share this with you. The KPS was hosted in the Department of Medical Physiology. The members are my colleagues, the lecturer. And then I remember walking to my friend, the parent, the vice chancellor from Naomengo in anatomy, and we were trying to do what we can, but it was just the house in Chirogo campus, Nairobi University. Even the websites we created was in our department. That's not the only thing that we say. It's a Kenya Geological Society. It has to be open to all the universities that are involved in the geology. So I left soon after this event. Again, I took leave of absence and I joined the University of East Africa with one vision to start training health professionals in the mission hospitals, Kikuyu, Tokotomo, Chogoria. That was very exciting. I did that for 6 years. I came back down to our apartment and I found the society went to sleep and became dormant. And when I came back, I then, somehow reactivating the Kenya Geological Society did not happen immediately, but nevertheless, my colleagues here now, they can talk about what they are actually doing. Otherwise, in terms of record, dividing Kenya Geological Society is very easy. It's a walk in the park. To consider us there. We are already there. And as one point that you mentioned, if we did this in 2008, you can see right from what the treasurer has presented, Kenya is right there. We are number 3 in terms of the financial contribution. So therefore, start planning to run Nairobi for the second conference of East African Society of the Geological Science. Thank you.
Prof, I still remember the conference in 2008. At that time, I was in medical school, and we were not wrong. It attracted quite a big crowd of delegates and participants from across the globe and Northwest Africa. I was quite young in medical school then, but I attended it in person. So, as you've had, Kenya Physiological Society has had to be resuscitated several times. It goes into ICU, almost dies, and then we revive it. At some point it dies, but before we bury it, we managed to still breathing some life into it. Oh. Now, in 2018, we were looking for faculty members in my department of the university. And this goes to now the sentiments of the issue of professionalization of physiology, the issue of the career path of physiologists, the issue of the involvement of physiologists with the training of healthcare workers, and basically researchers and everybody. So at that time, I was lobbying quite strongly and was visiting Vice Chancellor's office quite regularly and trying to get it work. And the interesting part was that I had no idea where everyone was. We were looking for, and we didn't want to find people living in those spots, where you're trying to find out where are people. I know that we are there, or physiologists. I did a PhD in physiology, I did an MSc in physiology, apart from becoming a doctor and surgeon. I don't know where the colleagues are. So that's when now it occurred to me that I needed to gather everyone back together. So I created a WhatsApp group, added the physiologists I knew, my classmates, etc., who progressed to become gynecologists, others became all kinds of specialties, and asked everyone to add people who they knew were physiologists, despite maybe being healthcare workers in other specialties. And we have a group now of 97 members. We are still adding some more, but we're literally tracing people from across the country. And the idea was to create a group and a pool of physiologists to share networks, share opportunities, and even then recruit from for the different universities in Kenya. So that pool then now served to recruit membership in ESPS. That became easy. And at that point now, when I learned that Professor Abdullateef is in the process of completing the ESPS, then I was able to write to him and say, hey, we are actually working on the same, why don't we work together? And now that pool is the pool that then I subsequently handed over to the younger generation of physiologists to then take over and once again resuscitate the kind of physiological sciences. I don't know who will be updating us on the status now.
Thank you so much. I'll speak outside from where he talked. His last story was about 2018 when he was going into his office and trying to gather everyone together. So 1 year later, in 2019, a group of the physiologists who are currently members, who are then members, met at the University of Nairobi, and they met one of the other passionate physiologists, Dr. Awelu, who advocated strongly about the revival of the Kenyan Physiological Society. So from 2019, a task force was formed to kind of focus on reviving the society and taking it back to the futuristic, because by 2019 it was dormant for around 12 years. But unfortunately, we went dormant again just right after 2019, 2022. And from 2022, one of the other passionate physiologists, Dr. Mete, met Dr. Awelu, still at the University of Nairobi, and they sat down and developed a roadmap on how to revive the Kenyan Physiological Society. And that is where I came in. I was one of the supervisors of Dr. Awelu, and he recently got me into the society, and I got into kind of activities that have been pretty broad, and with time I now became the treasurer. So I kind of wrote down most things I learned from it. But when we were finding this, the three main objectives that we had was to focus on the science of physiology. But then we also try and look at how best can physiology serve our members, that is professional careers, advancing them and ensuring that they kind of gain the confidence in the society and they have that loyalty since they are applying their science and at the same time growing in their profession. And also one of the other objectives that we were looking at is members' welfare, because we didn't know how it became dormant, but then including the aspect of member welfare to understand how they are going on, to identify if someone is falling off from the society, and to see how to bring them back in was one of the objectives that we had, to get the sustainability to avoid going dormant again. So science is the current running field, or it's the top field of objective of the society. And some of the main activities or projects that we're looking at while we're trying to revive the society is focusing on the channel club to kind of ensure continuous medical education and to foster knowledge exchange among our members. To focus on the publications, actually I was glad that the journal of AFPS was mentioned today. Actually, a number of the BSc students and the MSc students don't know about MSc, but BSc rarely publish their work. And there's a whole database of unpublished work. So focusing on the publications, gathering that database and seeing how to channel them into the journals of one of our focus areas, offering teaching opportunities and research grants for our members and also one of the main tasks. So we developed a roadmap in summarized in 5 phases, but currently we are in phase 2. So phase 1 was in the first 100 days of this year. What can we do to kind of bring back the society previous for all the new form that is in? The second phase was to kind of bring in pilot projects or pilot activities to start the society and engage members. Phase 3 was to begin next year, which is year 2 of the revival. And that time we will continuously engage our members through the activities that I mentioned. Phase 4 will be continuously in future where we grow, and phase 5 will be on sustainability. So on phase 1, the first 100 days, what did we achieve as a society? One, we retrieved all society documents and proper documentation. That's the previous minutes, the constitutions and everything. And then we put them together so we can review and see how this can grow the society, how it goes. Next, we review the constitution, we sent it to the members, they reviewed it and gave us their feedback, and the final version was published and we are running constitution. The second point is member engagement. We held our first AGM in first week on 23, where we adapted the constitution, set up the structure of the society, and we nominated the interim committee, which is currently running the society. And then
Dr. Michel, we are going to have a full presentation from you, like a form of report. But I think the key thing we have picked from what you are saying now, if I am to summarize, is that now KPS has been revived, the executive is there. Now the roadmap is what now you are trying to implement. So I think the key thing we want to know is the status of KPS. And the answer is that it has been revived and we have now interim executive, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
I think it's been a journey of death and resuscitation over and over. But from the energy that we're seeing here, I think there's hope in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think that's a very good report from Kenya. So we are happy that Kenya is back. And that's why Kenya is very proud to request for hosting the next conference. Whether we will accept or not, we'll know today. So let's hear from Rwanda. Can we hear from Dr. Akaniene Ime Ubong? So just give us like maybe a 3-minute, please, 3-minute summary. I know 3 minutes is too short, but help us to summarize in 3 minutes so that we can go for abstract. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dr. Akaniene, I got great the presentation committee Department of Medical Physiology, University of Rwanda, an institution I'm glad to advertise, has unacceptable determination to train top-notch medical professionals and other biomedical scientists. So I'm using this opportunity to advertise the University of Rwanda. We have the Rwandan Physiological Society. At I think we have gone 95% to establish that society. But today is normal. If the president of EASPS is from Rwanda, and we don't have the society fully established in Rwanda. So we've gone, we are starting with the responsibility of promoting physiology and closely related discipline in Rwanda, which the committee, which I serve as secretary, was able to achieve that. And consequently, we've had a series of meetings, and I'd like to inform ESPS and AFPS that so far, the society has a working constitution that was adopted on the 27th of November this year. And, the chairman of that committee is here, and that's a very experienced and top-notch academic professor. And let me join and my boss.
Prof, stand up for recognition. Just to see you again, please. Thank you, Prof.
So we have also set a committee for the election of the council members, and that election will be conducted, I'm very sure, within the next 2 weeks. So I would say that before the end of this year, the society will be fully registered and will give proper reports to the higher bodies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that summary. So the meaning is that Rwanda is on board. Rwanda now has constitution for the Rwandan Physiological Society. They are now at the stage of forming electoral committee to conduct election to have council so that the process can be complete. Thank you very much. We are on board. We have Rwanda, we have Kenya. So let's hear from Tanzania. What level are you? 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So we have not yet registered Tanzania Physiological Society. We are in the process of writing our constitution, but I'm very happy that most of the Tanzanian physiologists are here and they are now understand that we really need our association. So I know that with them we'll start this process, and maybe early next year we'll have our association.
Thank you. That is a very nice point. At least you have given yourself a timeline that by so time, we'll have the association fully formed. So what we want to see is something that can enable us to measure our progress. Thank you. We can hear from Uganda. So what level are you? 2 minutes.
Thank you. 2 minutes is a lot for a new unit. We are still in the embryonic stage. Yes, as in Uganda, still trying. As I told you, the physiologists in Uganda are countable. I can even tell you the names 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other issue is those who are in physiology and they have love for it, they're still very few. That's why you see few of them here. And I told you the issue is about the profession. The profession. So that I'm still fighting with that to feel proud that one is a physiologist. One person is a medical doctor. I was asking why he found the appetite to become a physiologist when he's a medical doctor. He then says, I'm a doctor, no more physiologist. So I'm trying to see how, so we already have a WhatsApp group. And those who came with me, please stand up for recognition. From Uganda. Yes. Yeah, the others would have come, it is the time for end of semester examination, so they have not been able to come here. But I think by the time we go for another conference like this, we shall have had our own within Uganda. Thank you.
So thank you very much. President, you have had it. Already we have Ethiopian Physical Society existing. That is not the problem. Now we have Kenya joining. We have Rwanda joining. And the two, Tanzania and Uganda, they are still in the process. So hopefully, maybe before the end of this year, before the end of December, we should know where we are on these 5 countries. So that next year we can have the plan to have 5 more countries apart from this. So what I just want to request you to do is just to give us your blessing for 1 minute. And the blessing will be in a way to say that you authorize us to ensure that these 5 countries, they proceed with the formation of the physical society in the respective countries, so that they know that whatever they are doing in their country has the blessing of AAPS.
Thank you, Chair. Now you definitely have our blessing as AAPS. I think this is great. And it seems by about the first quarter of next year, we'll have these societies formed. It's essential that we have strong societies, that we consolidate now all the efforts. And then from a strong base, then you can build up to the next 5. I've got half a minute. Just the next conference you arrange, just keep in mind, 2025, you may not have to follow the 2 years. We'll have Egypt, AAPS, and IUPS. So it's maybe not the ideal, perhaps 2026 or 2024. Think about that.
Thank you very much, President. So at least the societies from each country, you can take back the message home that AAPS president has blessed the formation of the society in your respective countries. And whatever we do, as I said earlier, we are trying to ensure that whatever association we have within the region, it is affiliated 100% with AAPS. And also, we are in the process of ensuring that in EASPS, we have 100% affiliation with IUPS. We have made the request, the council has approved in principle that EASPS is now an affiliate of IUPS. But our formal integration officially into IUPS will be done in the next IUPS conference. Because the Council of IUPS doesn't have the constitutional power to grant membership to a society. It can only be done in the Congress. So, but we have been given executive approval in principle while waiting for the conference to adopt us officially. So meaning that anyone from EASPS, by the time we are adopted into IUPS, you can even contest to be IUPS president. You can contest to be anything. You can get fellowship from IUPS. So we are moving. So thank you very much, and I believe we are happy with the level we have. So the next is, let's have, I don't know, are we proposing when the next conference should be? When, where, and who will host it? Do we have lobbyists here who want to lobby? Because I remember how we achieved coming to Tanzania. We threw it open in the EASPS platform, and the HOD of MOHAS, Dr. Frederick Mashili, showed interest. We are capable in Tanzania. We want to host this conference. We want to be the first. I received the SMS, the WhatsApp first, and the following day I received email on the letterhead of MOHAS. We want to host the conference. I said, now, he wrote the email with the letter attaching the request, and that's how we say, oh, if MOHAS or if Tanzania is ready, let us give them the chance to start. And it is under this discussion that I would like to specially recognize, appreciate, and commend the effort of the LOC. There are some LOC members here that if anyone approach me for recommendation, I will be signing while I am closing my eyes, because I have seen the capacity, I have seen what they have done. I will start from the Vice President, Dr. Marina Angelekela. She has been so wonderful. In terms of fundraising, she is someone that is raising funds with phone call. You bring me 5 million. You give me 1 million. She is collecting money from DG of hospitals, from universities, with phone calls, without going to them. It means it shows how powerful she is. So please give her a very good round of applause. This conference wouldn't have been possible without our support. And that's why by EASPS constitution, the vice president of EASPS is the host of the conference. It is by our constitutional provision. It is by default. So it means that at any time, if you want to host conference, if you cannot host conference, don't even contest to be the vice president. Because the constitutional mandate of vice president is to host conference. So I think she has delivered very well her mandate. Thank you, Dr. Marina. And I would also like to appreciate Dr. Evangelista Malindisa. She's someone that I don't even know how to describe her. She's in another world entirely. As in, she holds the control of the process of this conference. She got a massive support of the university. Imagine someone making the university to donate their account for receiving funds. Universities don't joke with money. Money of EASPS can mix with money of COAS. We had problem in opening accounts. Because of this corruption in Africa, banks were refusing to open accounts. They say, go and bring certificate of registration. And to register society because of terrorism is not easy. We couldn't get accounts. We didn't want to use individual accounts. We ran into trouble of opening accounts. She said, no problem. She approached the university. University gave us the account. That's why all the payment for the conference is through the account of COAS, Catholic University of Health and Allied Sciences. So for someone to get the university to leave the account, and the accountant of the university is managing our fund. That's why everything is very transparent. Nobody is holding any kobo or any shillings. The accountant is the one up. Before we can remove any money from the account, DVC Finance must approve. VC must approve. It shows how thorough the financing process is. She made it possible. Thank you so much. Dr. Dionys Ikunda, please stand up. Everything that was done on abstracts, she was the one in charge. From receiving abstracts, from coordinating the scientific committee process, from liaising with the reviewers, the judges, from the beginning to the end, she did this. And that's why I'm saying, if you want to organize international conference, and you need someone that can organize scientific committee, we are now consultants. She will be the one we will nominate for you to handle that part. She is tested and trusted. Thank you very much, Dr. Dionys. Dr. Ashabilan Ibrahim, where are you? I believe she's organizing logistics. She's the logistic person. So everything that has to do with your hotel booking, your transport, logistic, accommodation booking, everything logistic, visa, everything, invitation letter, after payment, she did very well. So thank you so much too. So I think the men, well, the men, they are playing a role in the background. And that's why you say what men can do, women can do it better. We have been able to demonstrate that in Tanzania, Antigone, he is among the men, he has done a lot, especially in designs and other logistics. We have a Jackton, also supported in the scientific committee. Thank you very much. Akbaru, there are many people I cannot mention. And lastly, I'd like to appreciate the Tanzania Summit, CHS, under the coordination of Dr. Omari Chilu. All the branding you saw here, the banner, whatever branding, CHS was in charge. They donated the branding without collecting a kobo from us. So the chair of the THS is the co-chair of the LOC. So, and he was saying, if I'm the chair of LOC and we are still looking for money, okay, let me volunteer to take care of branding. So we thank them for doing that. So in summary, our appreciation goes to the LOC entirely for organizing this conference and for making us proud. I believe that everyone who has come to this conference has enjoyed it, and to the best of our ability, this is how best we can do it. Maybe next time we can do better, but for now, this is how best we can do it. So thank you very much for managing us. So Dr. Marina.
So I think those were the agenda
Yes.
for this first physical as well as virtual annual general meeting. Something which we have delayed implementing, we need for the ones who are online, I think we will have the names. But for those who are physical, we need to put a list of all of you who have attended here. So I would request very much, can you check where are they with the papers? Because we really need to document this attendance. It's very, very important that it was conducted and the deliberations and the report to be submitted as our first AGM. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank you so much. First of all, to appreciate that you responded to our call to come to Tanzania to attend this meeting. You saw the amount of money which the treasurer displayed. If you didn't pay for the registration, we couldn't have been where we are, despite collections from donors. But participation through registration fee is critical when you conduct these international meetings. So we hope you will do the same to the final country which will agree or will be endorsed to host the next conference. So with that, I thank you again and again, and I would like to appreciate the sponsors, all the sponsors, local as well as international, who sponsored this meeting, and particularly also to AD Instruments. You will gather a lot of skills tomorrow with AD Instruments and also connections with them for that, what they can do to your university. So I hope we have gained a lot of information. Really, we appreciate outstanding presentations which have been given yesterday and tomorrow, and the skill practice which we have tomorrow for the betterness of everybody in terms of knowledge improvement. I think we have all gained something during this session, and you are going home with something. So thank you so much for attending our first AGM. We appreciate and we wish you the remaining one day to complete tomorrow, but also get some time to visit some areas which of interest here in Tanzania. If you happen to go to Zanzibar, bon voyage. Zanzibar is exciting too. You can have even 4 hours in Zanzibar and come back to Dar es Salaam. You don't need to sleep there. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. So countries who want to host the next conference, they should request on email. I think the process of making us to decide on that in this meeting will not be possible. So if you feel you want to host the next conference, you can write on email, then we can plan at the council level to know when when the next conference will be. We need a lot of consultations to know when the conference will be. Because to raise funds, to mobilize funds, and plan conference of this nature, it is a crazy thing. So we will not be able to agree on when. So if you want to hold the conference, please write us email, then we'll look into it. Thank you very much. So let's prepare.